The bookkeeping video on how to set up an existing client for the business type bookkeeping. So I'm on my home page. Here's my business type bookkeeping. Here are my office events I've already set up. And now I have an existing client who happens to be a tax client. So I'm going to do a search. And the name of the client is Grand Limousine. And here they are, business type tax preparation. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit add. So Adam's going to default, thinking I'm trying to add an account year for business type tax prep, which I'm not. So it's defaulting to the current return year, which is 2015. So I'm going to switch it to 2016 because I'm in 2016 for bookkeeping. I'm going to change the business type to bookkeeping. And I'm also going to check the box, reset my office events. So in case it create any office events under tax prep, now I want to remove those and create the ones under bookkeeping. So then I hit save account. So now I've just created for the client Grand Limousine a new business type bookkeeping. So now Grand Limousine is both a tax client and now a bookkeeping client. And as you see, the office events that have automatically were created. So I have one called Setup, Weekly Payroll, Form 941 Preparation, and Form W2 Preparation. So I set these up in admin under Office Event Status that on creation, I automatically always want these office events to be created. So I could easily just delete. So for this client, say they don't do, I don't need to do W2 preparation for them, I would just go ahead and just delete this. Or say I have, maybe they do this client actually does sales tax. So, but normally I don't do sales tax for clients, so I don't want it to populate for every single client. So now I just automatically select sales tax and then save. Now it's giving me an error message for, because now I have to have, apparently for sales tax, I didn't tell it that I don't want to have all these account fields populated. So you definitely want to shut that off, because I believe in the last video I said it can get quite annoying. And I don't want that to be refer from, I want it to be prior year. Save it. Okay, so now I have everything popped. Now I can come down here and click and do sales tax. Let's see. Okay. And set up. I can probably close this one out. This is a way of tracking when I have set up. This is setup is related to my office event lobby, and the way I like that is because then it'll automatically populate in my daily log, so I can track how many bookkeeping clients I set up for the day. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this out because there's nothing more I need to do for that one. So this is what I'm going to focus in on. So that's how we set up the new client. So now we need to customize these office events to fit when we want them to, as we have it set up already to reoccur. Say weekly payroll is going to reoccur every 7 days. I did that in admin. But I want it to automatically, say I want to be reminded of this on maybe on Monday. So right now it's created, well, let's say on Tuesday, because today happens to be Monday. So it automatically created it today at 12:05. So I would just select the edit pencil. And here you want to come in and change your start date, because your start date is the date that the reoccurrence is going to flow off of. So each time you set up a brand new client, you need to adjust the start date to whatever date you want to be reminded, hey, I need to start gathering payroll hours because I need to get my payroll done in however many days. So say I want this to be, I'm going to go back. Let's go to say 12/3. So I'm going to hit save. All right. So now you see my creation date was 12/5. That when I actually created my office event, but the start date is actually 12/3. So then when I close this weekly payroll out, my next start date is going to be 12/10, 7 days from the start date. All right. So every time you create a brand new client, you're probably going to have to adjust your start date. And again, the start date is going to be the date that you want to be reminded, hey, I need to start doing this task. Say for Form 941 preparation, So this is going to reoccur every 90 days. So just think to yourself, when do I need to be reminded to start focusing in on my 941 preparation for Grand Limousine? And once you have that date set, all you're going to do is select the edit pencil and come in here and you're going to adjust your start date. Okay, because as soon as you close this out, it's going to automatically add 90 days from this start date. And that would be when you be reminded again to do 941 preparation. So here's my weekly payroll. If I go to my home page under weekly payroll, and I have it listed actually under Mark as the user. So there's Grand Limousine, weekly payroll, and my event due date was 12/5, but it's been sitting here. So see how it says it's been in here 2 days because I put my start date was 12/3, and today's 12/5. You can probably just ignore this due date because basically this is just going to tell you when these need to be done. So I'm just going to come in here now, say I'm finished with my Grand Limousine. I'm going to go ahead and hit select the edit pencil, and I'm going to hit end date, and I'm going to save it. So now that weekly payroll is done, and another one should automatically be created 7 days from now. So this one's closed out. I could make any notes if I wanted right in here as to maybe when the hours came in and whatnot. And now here's my new one, weekly payroll. And see this note right here. This is actually a note populating because in admin I said I need payroll hours automatically to populate. So as you look here, start date is now 12/10. So on 12/10, go back to my home page. In my weekly payroll, this will automatically, Grand Limousine will automatically display in here on 12/10, but not before that. But you don't need to necessarily know about it or be reminded of it because you don't need to know about it until December 10th. That's when you want to be reminded, hey, I better make sure Grand Limousine is contacted to get the hours to me. So let me go back to Grand Limousine now. I'm just going to refresh my screen here. And speaking of which, if you'd like to have an event or an email go out to this client reminding them, say you on December 10th, you want an email automatically to go out to the client to say, hey, just a friendly reminder, make sure you gather your hours and send them to us by, within a day or two, whatever you wanted to say. You can do that, and that's all set up in admin in the event status under client notifications. So you can have an email automatically go out on the start date. So that's a great way of doing something for your bookkeeping, and then it automatically will send it out to them, just reminding them, hey, I need to get the hours to you. Okay, and you can put your email in there. It's however they send it to you, by fax or email or to our portal. They could do it that way too. So it works exactly the same way for all these office events, depending on what they are. You just have to adjust the start date. One more thing, if you want to have a predefined note that's specific to this client, you would click on this little book link here and say, be sure to contact Joe at 517-323-4806 to remind him of hours. Okay, and then save it. So this then would automatically populate every time. So this is specific. This one up here, need payroll hours. That's a reoccurring note that happens for all your payroll clients. I mean, all your weekly payrolls for all your clients. Whereas this one, when you put a note here, that's unique just to that specific client. So that will automatically populate every time this office event reoccurs. Okay. One more thing I want to point out regarding when I mentioned that predefined notification that you can automatically set up on your start date. You have to make sure that there's an email up here. So this is where it's going to go to right here. So that little message will go to this email. In fact, I have one sitting in here too. I can send one on the fly if I want. So here's hours due. Please send your timesheets by Monday. End of business. And I could hit send right here, and then it would automatically log it right there too. So again, I'm going to refer you to the admin set up on how to set up these notifications or refer you to the videos strictly related to that. But I just want to show how these can be helpful and be used for your bookkeeping business. So now I'm going to scroll down here. So say if you want to use our transaction section to bill your clients for bookkeeping, you can just go ahead and select the transaction type, and you can customize these. So in here I have weekly payroll, biweekly. So I set these all up in admin in the transaction type, and again, I'll refer you to that to customize it. And then lastly, in the account documents, upload type, again, I customize this to fit my bookkeeping side, 940, 941, payroll documents, etc. You could have QuickBook documents in here if you like for bookkeeping. And again, you can customize your upload types in admin under upload types. It goes over the video, training video tells you about that. One more thing I wanted to put out here. So if I were to, say I put a note, so I'm going to select the edit pencil. I created a predefined note, and that was done in admin and event status. So weekly complete. So it automatically populates, stamp dates it, finish weekly payroll, and emailed client. So if I close this out, and I hit save, that takes care of that. So if I open this up, if I left click to see all my events, there's the one I just stamp dated. This is a new one that just got created. Now it's 7 days from the start date, so I'm at 12/17 because my last start date was 12/10. And then here's my notes. So here's the one that's set up in admin. This one was set up just by clicking on this little book here. And again, if I want to change it, I can just left click here. I can change it, I can remove it, and then just click Save Note. Okay, that's all I have regarding setting up your bookkeeping clients for an existing client. Thank you.